Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fluent English Journey. I'm really happy that you're here with me today because we're going to talk about something that can completely change the way you think about success, not just in learning English, but in life in general. The topic is simple but very powerful: why your mindset is more important than your talent. Let me start with a question. Have you ever met someone who seemed really talented? Maybe they were amazing at playing the guitar, or they were a natural at sports, or maybe they seemed to learn languages super easily. At first, you probably thought, wow, they're going to go so far with that talent. But then, over time, you notice something strange. Even though they had this natural ability, they didn't really grow. Sometimes they didn't improve, or they even gave up. Have you ever seen that happen? I think most of us have. It's surprising because we often believe that talent alone guarantees success. But the truth is, it doesn't. Now, think about the opposite. Have you known someone who didn't seem very talented at first? Maybe they weren't naturally good at something, and it didn't come easily to them. But what they did have was a strong mindset. They believed they could get better. They kept practicing. They stayed consistent. And slowly, little by little, they improved. Over time, they often went further than the naturally talented person who gave up too early. When we see this happen, it reminds us of something very important. Talent can open the door, but mindset is what keeps you walking through it. This is why in today's episode, we are going to focus on mindset being more important than talent. Think of talent like a seed. A seed has potential, but it doesn't grow on its own. Mindset is like the soil, the water, and the sunlight. Without the right mindset, the seed of talent cannot grow. And here's the exciting part. Unlike talent, which is something you are born with, mindset is something you can build, improve, and strengthen over time. As we go through this episode, I want you to think about your own life. Are there areas where you've been relying only on talent? Maybe you've thought, if I'm not naturally good at this, I'll never succeed. Or maybe you've thought, I'm talented, so I don't need to try as hard as others. Both of these beliefs can hold you back. The truth is, what matters most is how you think, how you respond to challenges, and how you keep going even when things are hard. That is mindset. So, here's the key idea I want you to remember. Your mindset can take you further than talent ever will. Talent is a gift, yes, but mindset is a choice. And the choices you make every day will shape your future far more than any natural ability you were born with. Now, let's take a moment to understand the difference between talent and mindset. First, what is talent? Talent is something you are naturally good at. It's an ability that comes easily to you, without much effort. For example, some people have a natural talent for music. They can hear a song once and play it perfectly on the piano. Others are talented in sports. They run faster, jump higher, or move more easily than most people. Some children can draw beautifully without ever taking a class. Talent feels like a gift. It's something you didn't ask for but received anyway. It makes some things easier, but it doesn't guarantee success. Now, let's talk about mindset. Mindset is your attitude toward learning and growing. It's how you approach challenges, how you deal with failure, and how you keep improving over time. Even if you're not naturally talented at first, a strong mindset can help you achieve great things. The people who succeed are usually not the most talented. They are the ones with a growth mindset. They keep learning, practicing, and improving no matter how hard it gets. So, as we go through this episode, I want you to focus on building your mindset. Remember, talent gives you a head start, but mindset determines how far you go. Mindset versus talent. Why mindset matters more. Mindset is not about what comes easily to you. Instead, it's about how you think, how you approach challenges, and how you respond to difficult situations. Your mindset is your attitude, your beliefs, and the story you tell yourself about what is possible. For example, if you believe that you can grow, that you can learn, and that your effort can make you better, then you have what is often called a growth mindset. But if you believe that your abilities are fixed, that you are either good at something or you are not, then you have what is called a fixed mindset. Which one do you think will help you more in the long run? Here's a simple way to understand the difference. Imagine talent as a seed. A seed has potential. It could grow into a beautiful flower or a strong tree. But a seed alone is not enough. If you just put it on a table and leave it, it will never grow. It needs soil. It needs water. It needs sunlight. Without these, the seed remains just a seed. Now think of mindset as the soil, water, and sunlight. Mindset creates the right conditions for talent to grow. Without mindset, talent doesn't go anywhere. But with the right mindset, even a small seed can grow into something much bigger than you ever imagined. Let's bring this closer to real life. Think about learning English. Some people have a natural talent for languages. They remember words quickly, copy accents easily, and seem to learn faster than others. But what happens if a talented learner has a poor mindset? Maybe they are lazy, maybe they don't practice, or maybe they give up when they make a mistake. In the end, their talent doesn't take them very far. On the other hand, imagine someone who doesn't feel naturally talented at languages. Maybe grammar is difficult or pronunciation is hard. But their mindset is strong. They believe they can improve. They practice every day. They keep going even when it feels frustrating. Over time, this person will often become more fluent than the person who relied only on talent. Here's another way to think about it. Talent is like a powerful engine in a car, but mindset is the driver. You can have the best engine, but if the driver is careless, distracted, or refuses to learn, the car won't go anywhere. On the other hand, even if the engine is not the best, a careful, determined driver can still go far, slowly but surely, and eventually reach the destination. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own life. What do you usually rely on more, talent or mindset? Have you ever thought, I'm just not good at this, so I won't even try? Or maybe, I'm naturally good at this, so I don't need to try hard? Both thoughts are dangerous because they ignore the power of mindset. If you rely only on talent, you may stop growing. If you believe you have no talent, you may stop trying. But with the right mindset, you can keep moving forward no matter where you start. Remember this. Talent is what you have, but mindset is how you use it. Talent is passive. Mindset is active. Talent gives you a starting point, but mindset decides how far you will go. And unlike talent, which you cannot fully control, mindset is in your hands. You can shape it, strengthen it, and improve it every single day. Why talent alone isn't enough? It's easy to believe that talent is all you need. Society often celebrates talent. We admire singers with amazing voices, athletes with incredible skills, or students who always get top grades. From the outside, it looks like talent is the magic key to success. But the truth is, talent alone is never enough. Without the right mindset, even the most talented person can struggle, give up, or fail to reach their potential. Take athletes as an example. In almost every sport, there are young players who show amazing ability early on. Coaches notice them, fans cheer for them, and people say, "This one is going to be a star." But what often happens? Some of these talented athletes stop training seriously. They don't keep improving. They rely only on talent, and eventually, They fall behind others who work harder and have a strong mindset. Maybe some talented people think their natural ability will carry them all the way. Maybe they lose focus, or maybe they don't know how to handle setbacks, like injuries, competition, or failure. Before long, their careers stall or stop completely, even though they had so much potential. At the same time, there are athletes who may not be as naturally gifted. They have to work harder at first. But they train every day, they listen to advice, and they refuse to give up. Over time, these players often become the real champions. Talent gave one player a head start, but mindset allowed the other to reach the finish line. Music shows the same idea. Imagine someone with a beautiful singing voice. At first, everyone is impressed. But singing well at the beginning is not enough to succeed as a musician. You need practice, discipline, and emotional strength. You need to perform in front of people, handle criticism, and keep creating even when you don't feel inspired. Many naturally talented singers quit because they can't handle the pressure or because they never develop the habit of regular practice. On the other hand, some musicians may not start with the most amazing voice. But they work hard, train their skills, and build the courage to perform again and again. Over time, their mindset keeps them moving, and their careers often last longer than those who relied only on talent. Education works the same way. You might know students who are very smart. They understand things quickly, don't study much, and still pass their exams. But when something becomes difficult, they often panic or give up because they are not used to struggle. Talent helped them at first, but it didn't prepare them for real challenges. Meanwhile, other students may need more time to learn. They might fail the first time, but because they keep trying and stay consistent, they eventually master the subject. Their mindset teaches them how to face difficulty, which is far more valuable than simply being naturally gifted. So, what stops talented people from reaching success? Usually, it's not a lack of ability. It's something inside. Fear of failure. Some people are so afraid of making mistakes that they never take risks. They prefer to stay in their comfort zone rather than test their limits. Self-doubt. Even talented people sometimes don't believe in themselves. This doubt can keep them from going after opportunities. Perfectionism. Expecting everything to be flawless may sound good, but it can stop progress. When things aren't perfect, people feel disappointed, frustrated, or ashamed, and sometimes they stop trying altogether. Think about yourself. Have you ever given up because you were afraid of failing? Or avoided starting something because you thought you weren't talented enough? These are mindset problems, not talent problems. Success doesn't come to the person with the most natural ability. It comes to the person who can overcome fear, doubt, and perfectionism. That requires mindset, not talent. Here's the lesson. Talent can give you an advantage, but it cannot carry you all the way. If talent is a starting point, mindset is the fuel that keeps you going when things get hard. Life will bring setbacks, criticism, and moments of frustration. Talent cannot help you in those moments, but mindset can. The power of mindset in action. Now that we know why talent alone isn't enough, let's look at how mindset works in real life. It's one thing to say mindset is powerful, but it's another to see it in action. Setbacks are a natural part of life. Nobody succeeds on the first try at everything. But here's the key difference. People with a fixed mindset often see setbacks as proof that they are not good enough. People with a growth mindset see setbacks as opportunities to learn, grow, and get better. This simple change in thinking makes a huge difference. Mindset allows people to keep moving forward, even when things don't go as planned. It's not talent that helps you survive failure, it's your mindset. Imagine failing an exam. With a fixed mindset, you might say to yourself, I'm just not smart. I'll never understand this. But with a growth mindset, you could say, this is hard, yes, but I can try a new strategy. I can ask for help and I can improve. That small change in thinking makes a huge difference in what happens next. Let's look at a famous example, Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Many people know the light bulb, but few know how many times he failed before succeeding. Some say he tried over 1,000 experiments before finding a solution that worked. Imagine failing 1,000 times. Most people would give up long before reaching that point. But Edison didn't see failure as proof that he lacked talent. He saw every failure as a step closer to success. He once said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is mindset in action. His intelligence and skills mattered, but without his mindset, he would never have kept going long enough to change the world. Another inspiring story is J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books. Today, her name is famous, but her journey wasn't easy. Before publishing her first book, she faced many rejections from publishers. Some said her book was too long. Others thought it wouldn't sell. At the same time, she was struggling in her personal life, raising a child alone and facing financial difficulties. A person with a fixed mindset might have given up, thinking, this is too hard. Maybe I'm not good enough. But Rowling kept going. She believed in her story and in her ability to improve. Her persistence and mindset turned rejection into one of the most successful book series of all time. But mindset isn't only for famous people. It's also about you and me every day. Think about learning English. Many learners start strong, but when they struggle, like not understanding a native speaker or forgetting words, they feel embarrassed and want to quit. That's a fixed mindset reaction. I'm just not good at languages. Learners with a growth mindset respond differently. They say, this conversation was hard, but I'll keep practicing. Next time, I'll be a little better. Slowly, with this mindset, they truly improve. Public speaking is another great example. Many people are terrified of speaking in front of others. Hands shake, hearts race, and they fear forgetting their words. With a fixed mindset, they think, I'm not a good speaker. I'll always be bad at this and avoid speaking opportunities. But with a growth mindset, someone might think, I was nervous this time, but if I practice and prepare, I'll get better. Each time, it gets easier. Confidence grows not because they were naturally talented, but because their mindset allowed them to face fear instead of running away from it. Now, take a moment and think about your own challenges. Where have you acted with a fixed mindset? Where could a growth mindset help you move forward? Think for a moment. What is something you've given up on because you thought you weren't talented enough? Maybe it was drawing or sports or even learning English. Now imagine if you had kept going, not expecting perfection, but believing that you could improve little by little. How different would the outcome have been? This is the real power of mindset. It doesn't magically make things easy. It doesn't remove difficulties. What it does is give you the strength to keep moving forward, to see every failure as feedback, and to believe that growth is always possible. Talent can give you a head start, but mindset keeps you in the race when things get tough. So, when you face a challenge, ask yourself, am I reacting with a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? How can I shift my thinking so this difficulty becomes an opportunity to grow instead of a reason to quit? That small shift can make a huge difference, not just in learning English, but in every part of your life. Consistency beats talent. If there is one lesson I wish everyone could learn early in life, it's this: Consistency beats talent. What does that mean? It means that showing up every day, practicing regularly, and putting in steady effort often leads to more success than just relying on natural ability. Talent may give you a strong beginning, but consistency decides whether you reach the finish line. Let's look at students as an example. Imagine two learners in the same class. The first student is very talented. English comes easily to them. They understand grammar quickly, remember vocabulary without effort, and impress the teacher. But there's a problem. They don't study much. They think, why should I? I'm already good at this. Now, the second student isn't naturally gifted. English is hard for them. They make mistakes, forget words, and sometimes feel frustrated. But this student has something the first one doesn't: consistency. They study a little every day. They practice speaking every week. Even if they feel shy or tired, they don't stop. Now, think carefully. Who will be more fluent in 2 or 3 years? Almost always, it's the consistent student. Talent gives a head start, but consistency keeps you moving forward long after talent has stopped. There's an old saying you might know: slow and steady wins the race. It comes from the famous story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare is fast and confident. The tortoise is slow. At the start of the race, the hare runs far ahead. But because he is so confident in his speed, he decides to take a nap. Meanwhile, the tortoise keeps moving slowly but steadily, never stopping, never giving up. In the end, the tortoise crosses the finish line first and the hare loses. This story may sound simple, but it has a powerful message. Consistency, not speed or talent, leads to success. We see this in many areas of life. In fitness, for example, some people are naturally strong or athletic. They can lift heavy weights easily at first. But if they stop training, that strength disappears quickly. On the other hand, someone who starts weak but trains regularly, 3 times a week, gradually becomes stronger over time. Over time, the person who trains consistently may even become stronger than the naturally gifted person who gave up. Consistency multiplies small efforts into big results. The same is true in creative work. Writers don't finish books in a single day. They finish them by writing a little every day, even when they don't feel inspired. Musicians don't become experts overnight. They improve because they practice their instruments for years, often repeating the same scales and exercises until their skills become second nature. These examples show us that the real secret to mastery is not sudden brilliance, but patient repetition. English learning, the most relevant example. Now, let's bring this back to English learning, because this is probably the most relevant for you, my listener. Maybe you think, I don't have a talent for languages. Here's the truth. If you practice a little every day, reading a short article, listening to a podcast, writing a few sentences, or having a small conversation, you will make progress. It may feel slow at first. But imagine doing this consistently for 6 months, 1 year, or even 2 years. Your level of English will be far higher than someone who only studies once in a while, even if that person seems talented. Why? Because learning a language is like building a wall. Every day, you add one small brick. One brick alone doesn't look like much. But after enough time, you've built something strong and lasting. Here's a question. Would you rather be someone who starts fast but burns out quickly, or someone who moves slowly but never stops? The world is full of people who begin with great energy, talent, or excitement, but quit halfway. Meanwhile, the people who keep showing up day after day often reach goals that once seemed impossible. So, the next time you feel discouraged, remember this. Progress is not about speed, but about consistency. Even 5 minutes of practice every day is better than 3 hours once a month. Small, regular steps are the real secret to success. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took time, effort, and consistency. The same is true for your goals. Talent may make you look impressive for a short time, but consistency makes you successful for a lifetime. Overcoming self-doubt and fear of failure. Self-doubt and fear of failure are two of the most common barriers that stop people from growing, improving, or trying something new. These feelings can be so strong that they prevent us from even starting. Think about the last time you wanted to do something important, maybe speaking in front of others, applying for a new job, or even learning English. Did you stop yourself? It was probably not because you lacked talent or ability. Most likely, it was because you felt afraid of failing or doubted yourself. This is why mindset is so powerful. It helps us push past hesitation and take that first step. Let's start with self-doubt. Self-doubt is the little voice inside your head that says, "You are not ready. You are not smart enough. You will make mistakes." Many people listen to that little voice of self-doubt and let it control their decisions. But here's the truth. No one ever feels 100% ready when they start something new. Every great speaker, writer, athlete, or leader felt self-doubt at some point. The difference is that they did not let it stop them. Their mindset was stronger than their fear. Fear of failure works the same way. When we think about failing, we often imagine the worst. People laughing at us, losing respect, or feeling embarrassed. But failure is not the end, it's feedback. It shows us what went wrong so we can try again in a better way. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. They fall many times before finally riding smoothly. If they gave up after the first fall, they would never learn. Adults often forget this simple truth and see failure as proof they're not good enough. But in reality, failure is proof that you are trying. And trying is the only way to succeed. Mindset makes the difference. With a fixed mindset, people believe their abilities are permanent. I'm just not good at this, so I will fail anyway. With a growth mindset, people believe abilities can be developed. I may not be good now, but if I practice, I will get better. This belief changes everything. It gives us courage to face fear, accept mistakes, and keep going until we succeed. Making it personal. Ask yourself, what stops you from trying? Is it really because you lack skill, or is it because you are afraid of looking foolish? Many English learners already know enough vocabulary and grammar to speak, but they hesitate. They think, what if I say the wrong word? What if my accent is strange? What if people laugh? This fear keeps them silent, and because they don't practice, they never improve. In these situations, the problem isn't skill, it's fear. And the solution is mindset. How mindset helps overcome fear. Change the way you see mistakes. Instead of, if I fail, I'm not good enough, think, if I fail, I will learn something important. Instead of, I can't do this, think, I can't do this yet, but I will get better. Even this small change in self-talk makes a huge difference. It gives you permission to try without the heavy pressure of being perfect. Take small steps. If speaking English in front of a group feels too scary, start by practicing with one friend. If applying for a new job feels intimidating, start by updating your CV. Each small step reduces fear and builds confidence. Each time you face fear, it becomes weaker. In the end, overcoming self-doubt and fear of failure isn't about becoming fearless. It's about choosing courage even when fear is present. It's about saying, yes, I might fail. Yes, I might make mistakes. But I will try anyway. Practical shifts to build a stronger mindset. Mindset can sometimes sound like a big, abstract idea. But in reality, it is built through small, practical choices you make every day. It's not about suddenly becoming positive all the time or ignoring problems. It's about shifting the way you think step by step, so you can face challenges with more strength and hope. Here are some simple, powerful shifts you can start using today, whether you are learning English, developing your career, or improving yourself in any way. Practical shifts to build a stronger mindset. The first shift is to focus on progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is one of the biggest traps that hold people back. When you believe everything must be perfect before you act, you end up never acting at all. You wait until you feel ready, until you have the perfect plan, until you are sure you won't make a mistake. But perfection never comes. What matters is progress, the small steps you take toward your goal. Think about learning English. If you wait until you know every single word and rule, you will never speak. But if you focus on progress, speaking a little more today than yesterday, or learning one new phrase this week, you will improve steadily. Progress is real. Perfection is an illusion. The second shift is to see mistakes as lessons. This may sound simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Most of us were taught that mistakes are bad and should be avoided. But in life, mistakes are actually our best teachers. They show us what doesn't work, which helps us get closer to what does work. For example, Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, didn't see his thousands of failed experiments as failure. He saw them as discoveries of ways that didn't work. Imagine if he had given up after the first mistake. The world might have waited much longer for electric light. In your life, whether practicing English, learning a sport, or building a business, mistakes are part of the journey, not the end of it. Seeing them as lessons frees you from fear and opens the door to growth. The third shift is to practice gratitude and positive self-talk. Gratitude means appreciating what you already have instead of only focusing on what you lack. Even if you're not where you want to be yet, you still have strengths, opportunities, and resources. For example, instead of thinking, I'm terrible at English, you can think, I may not be fluent yet, but I know more than I did last year, and I'm learning more every day. That small change keeps you motivated. Positive self-talk works the same way. Words shape mindset. If you constantly tell yourself, I can't, or I'm not good enough, your brain begins to believe it. But if you say, I can try, or I'm learning, you build confidence and courage. This isn't lying. It's choosing supportive, realistic language that encourages growth. Another powerful shift is to surround yourself with the right influences. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the environment you place yourself in all shape your mindset. Constant negativity and criticism make it harder to believe in yourself. But supportive friends, motivational content, and communities of learners create an environment where your mindset can grow stronger. Just like plants need sunlight and water, your mindset needs encouragement and inspiration. Finally, the most important shift is to be patient and kind with yourself. Building a strong mindset isn't about being tough all the time or ignoring your struggles. Growth takes time. Too often, people are their own harshest critics. They expect instant results and feel like failures when they don't get them. But growth is not a straight line. It's a journey with ups and downs. Some days you'll feel strong and motivated. Other days you might feel tired or doubtful. That's normal. What matters is that you don't give up. If you can be patient with yourself, forgive mistakes, and keep moving forward, your mindset will naturally become stronger. To build a stronger mindset, remember these practical shifts. Focus on progress instead of perfection. Treat mistakes as valuable lessons. Practice gratitude and positive self-talk. Choose supportive influences. Be patient and kind with yourself. These small, daily choices may seem simple, but over time, they create a mindset that helps you overcome fear, grow, and succeed in learning English and in life. Be wise and be patient with yourself. None of these mindset shifts are complicated, but together, they are powerful. Over time, they will slowly change the way you see yourself and the world. And once your mindset changes, your actions will follow. You will begin to try more, grow more, and achieve more, not because you suddenly discovered hidden talent, but because you chose to think in a way that supports your growth. Now, let me ask you, which of these shifts could you start practicing today? Could you let go of perfection and focus on one small step forward? Could you reframe your mistakes and see them as lessons? Could you speak to yourself with kinder, more supportive words? Even one of these changes can make a big difference. And if you keep practicing them, your mindset can become one of your greatest strengths. As we come toward the end of today's episode, I want to invite you to turn the conversation inward. This is your chance to reflect on your own life, habits, and mindset. Ask yourself honestly, where in my life do I rely too much on talent? Are there areas where I've gotten by without putting in consistent effort, maybe learning a skill, playing a sport, or studying? Where do I feel I need a stronger mindset? Are there goals I've been avoiding because of fear, self-doubt, or hesitation? Maybe speaking English, trying a new hobby, applying for a job, or starting a personal project. Sometimes the barrier isn't skill at all. It's how we think about ourselves and our abilities. Understanding this difference can be life-changing. Now let's move from awareness to action. Keep a mindset journal. Each day, write down one moment you noticed fear, self-doubt, or hesitation. Then write one action you took to push through it, or one small way you could respond differently next time. For example, if you were afraid to speak English in class or with a friend, write down how you felt and what you said or could say. Over time, you will see patterns in your thinking and notice your mindset improving day by day. Take small steps outside your comfort zone. These don't have to be extreme. Even small actions count. Introduce yourself to someone new. Give a short presentation. Record yourself speaking English. Try a new recipe. Each small act of courage strengthens your mindset, not just your skills. Each time you step into discomfort, you build confidence and reinforce the belief that you can handle challenges. Remember a key idea from today: mindset is more powerful than talent. Talent may give you a head start, but mindset determines whether you cross the finish line. Every time you practice, face fear, or keep going after a setback, you are strengthening your mindset. You are proving to yourself that growth is possible. You are showing yourself that failure is not the end, but a step forward. Small, consistent actions in your daily life are the building blocks of long-term success. As you reflect this week, ask yourself honestly, where have I relied too much on talent and not enough on effort? Where has fear or self-doubt stopped me from trying? What is one small action I can take today or this week to strengthen my mindset? Take these steps and you will begin to see real, lasting growth in learning English and in life. Even one small choice, repeated over time, can create a powerful ripple effect in your life. I encourage you to move forward with curiosity and kindness toward yourself. Don't judge your mistakes or setbacks harshly. Every attempt, no matter how small, is a step forward. Growth is not linear. It is a journey filled with ups and downs, successes and failures. What matters most is that you keep moving, choosing effort over hesitation, curiosity over fear, and mindset over reliance on talent alone. If you take just one of these reflections seriously and turn it into action this week, you are already beginning to change your life. And when you do, you will start to notice the power of mindset in action, not tomorrow, not in some distant future, but in the small daily steps you take today. As we reach the end of today's episode, let's reflect on the main message we've been exploring. Mindset is more important than talent. Talent can give you a head start, but it cannot carry you all the way. Talent might open a few doors, but mindset keeps doors open, pushes you through challenges, and allows you to grow even when the path is difficult. Whether it's learning English, pursuing a new career, or mastering a personal skill, your mindset shapes how you approach obstacles, setbacks, and opportunities. It determines whether you give up when things get tough or keep moving step by step toward your goals. We've discussed the difference between talent and mindset and explored how mindset shows up in action. We've seen inspiring real-life examples like Thomas Edison, who kept experimenting despite thousands of failures, and J.K. Rowling, who persisted even after many rejections. We've also looked at everyday learners, athletes, and speakers who succeed not only because of their ability, but because of the mindset that keeps them consistent, resilient, and willing to learn. Practical ways to strengthen mindset include focusing on progress instead of perfection, seeing mistakes as lessons, practicing gratitude, using positive self-talk, and taking small steps outside your comfort zone. All these habits build the mental strength that allows talent to truly flourish. Another key idea we explored is that self-doubt and fear of failure are natural, but they do not have to control your actions. Mindset teaches us to face hesitation with courage, reframe mistakes as opportunities, and understand that growth is a journey, not a destination. Every small choice to try again, every step taken despite fear, adds up to real progress over time. These choices are more powerful than raw ability because they shape how you respond to challenges, not just how you perform when everything is easy. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Where might you have relied too much on talent, and where could a stronger mindset make a difference? Perhaps there is an area you've been avoiding because of fear or self-doubt. Maybe there's a skill you want to improve, a conversation you've been putting off, or a project you've delayed. This week, consider taking one small step toward that goal. Write in a mindset journal, speak in English to someone new, or simply remind yourself daily that growth comes through effort and learning, not just talent. Here is the empowering idea I want you to carry with you. Talent is a gift, but mindset is a choice. And that choice can change your life. No matter how naturally talented you are, it is your mindset that decides whether you truly succeed. When you choose a growth mindset, focus on consistent effort, embrace challenges, and learn from setbacks, you open doors that talent alone could never open. You create possibilities that might have seemed impossible before. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I hope this episode has given you not only new ideas about talent and mindset, but also practical steps to begin strengthening your own mindset right now. Remember, change doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small, intentional actions repeated over time. I invite you to reflect on what we've discussed. Take one small action this week and notice how it feels to choose mindset over hesitation. Most importantly, I look forward to seeing you back for the next episode of Fluent English Journey, where we'll explore more insights, strategies, and practical ways to grow, learn, and improve together. Keep learning, keep practicing, and remember, your mindset is one of the most powerful tools you have. Use it wisely, and it will serve you for a lifetime.